Paul Hamilton joining us. Game 7 tonight. Mr. Paul Hamilton, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Paul, we're great. Joe's back. Joe DiBiase's here. Joe Kelly, Owen Parker.
What's up?
Hi, Joe. How are you?
Good
Congrats.
morning. Thank you. It's good to be back, and I'm glad to be talking to you with the season still going, because that wasn't guaranteed, of course.
No, that wasn't guaranteed. Yeah.
Yeah, Paul. You got to wonder. Like sometimes players in elimination game are thinking like, well, if we lose, I can go to the cottage. I can relax for a little while. Did you have that thought when it was 3-1 in Montreal? Like, well, if it ends, it ends. I know how much you love hockey, and of course, Game 7 tonight is just like it's going to be a next level kind of event.
Well, yeah, and I still do remember the playoffs, even though they were a long time ago, and you just know that anything can happen in a series, and you know the ups and downs of a series where one loss and you think all is over and that's it, and then there's a win and you think, oh, this is great, and it just there's so many ups and downs you get in a 7-game series.
Currently riding that 8-3 feeling, Paul. So don't take it away from us because I feel like they'll never lose again. Paul, do you know what Lindy Ruff joked that in this spot they might try to make it be more like a road game? Are they doing things to do that?
Yeah, they're in a hotel.
All right.
I don't even know if they went home at all. But they might have just to refresh their suitcase or whatever. But they're in a hotel. They're treating it like a road game.
I wonder if they get to the next series, if they're going to do that in the next series as well. I mean, or if they just think it happened against Boston, too. They've been so good on the road.
I wonder, Paul, I don't know how unique that is. I'm not sure teams do it a lot, but I think it was Ken Danico on NHL Network said that Jacques Lemaire used to do that with them, with the Devils in the playoffs. So, again, I don't think it's a normal thing, but it makes some sense. Like, hey, playoff season, go away with the team, kinda, and you're just doing your own thing, as long as the playoffs are going.
I'm pretty sure the Bills do that.
I was going to say, I think that, football.
When they're in the playoffs?
Yeah. No, they went to a regular season.
Regular season.
Regular season.
Yeah.
So I think it was more common in the NHL back in the Danico days than, because I really haven't heard of it recently. But I'd heard of it back then. So, I don't think the Sabres are doing it. I was going to say I don't think there's anything in the collective bargaining agreement saying you can or can't do it or anything like that. I mean, you used to be able to do a double session practice and be there for 6 hours if you
right.
All right, we're starting at 11. We're still sitting there at 3:30 wondering when we're going to talk to the Sabres, type of a thing, and they can't do that anymore. But
I wonder if it's one of those things where you can't force them to do it. Like if you tell them, hey, we're going to stay in a hotel, they're all going to do it. But if a guy said, no, I'm not doing that, you couldn't hold them accountable. Maybe something like that in the CBA, but I'm not sure. Either way, they're treating it like a road game, Paul. Do you see? I mean, the results are certainly there. Is it clear to you that they do play better on the road in these playoffs than when they're at home?
Yeah, they sure do. I mean, Lindy Ruff, he goes, I can make something up for you. I think he's kind of a little bit of a loss with it. You just don't know why. Especially, the last home game, they got off to such a great start. And the fans are going crazy, and you scored 3 goals in the first period, and everything looks great. And, I mean, we've actually seen pretty much the same game 2 games in a row. First, it was Montreal winning, and then it was Buffalo winning, where the home team gets off to the start, and then the road team comes on, and in Buffalo's case, scores 7 consecutive goals, and he winds up winning. And by the time you're done, Zach Metza has a power play goal, and you scored 4 power play goals after you gave up a shorthanded goal during the spree where Montreal got the lead. And so it's just been crazy how, Montreal is 5-2 on the road in these playoffs. Buffalo's 5-1. In the Eastern Conference, let's see, there's another loss. This was on Duffer came up with this. It was 12-20, so now it's 12-21 with the home team. in the Eastern Conference playoffs.
Yeah.
As 12-21. It's insane. And again, what's the explanation for it? People can kind of guess, but I don't think people really know.
Paul, with regard to this team, like you've been around a lot of hockey teams and you've covered Sabres playoff teams in the past, and this team down 3-2, down 3-1 on the scoreboard. I kind of joked there. You might look to the future there, but what they did is a testament to the belief they have in there. And I just wonder if you could speak to that. The sense you get from them, and we're seeing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff about morning coffee, right? Like Lindy wants them together a lot, and maybe that's what the hotel might give for them, is that when they wake up this morning, they'll all be together instead of being at their apartments or their homes or whatever, because it certainly is a group that will play for each other and plays a connected style. Like, I don't know. I know teams and people can get like in love with their own team for this, but I don't think there's any denying what the Sabres have put together here.
Well, and the other thing is, too, they don't go on the ice other than games right now. This will be the second or third game in a row now where they haven't been on the ice in 2 days. And so he's pretty much just – and think about it. I mean, it's the middle of May. What's going on the ice going to do for you right now? I mean, you know how you have to play. It's every other day for games. So it really, when you think about it, and that's why I kind of like his approach. It's just like there's really no point to get on the ice. You can go over things in meetings, and this last one, it was like before they left for Montreal, he didn't even bring them to the rink. He goes, you know what? We don't need to go over this last game, which was a home game. He goes, the focus has to be on one thing and one thing only, and that's moving forward to Game 6, and that's all they need to think about. Plus, and it's nothing against the media or anything like that, he doesn't want, all right, what are all the questions going to be if he's got them all there and the media's there? It's all about how you blew the game at home, and he would rather be more of a upbeat, let's get ready for this game, nothing else matters, than trying to ask questions of why you still blew this lead and you played so well and this, that. So, we had like one or two players available to us, but it wasn't like you had the whole locker room available and everybody's in there and answering questions, and he just wanted this pure focus towards the game, and I really did like his approach.
Paul, before we get any further, let's do the injury report heading into tonight's game, because Owen Power played right through whatever he is playing with and played pretty darn well. What injuries are we watching for tonight?
They didn't even know if he'd be able to get through the game when he dressed. That's why Metsa dressed, because they felt if Power can't go through, then Metsa can take the regular shift with Byram, but he played 22-22, and a good tough performance by him to be able to get through it, and not only get through it, but play very well. So we don't know if he's worse for wear or whatever, because again, we haven't seen them on the ice or anything like that. But he made it. They weren't sure if he was going to be able to make it through the game or not, but it's like, let's give it a try. Let's find out. And he wanted to give it a try, and he did it. So played, really well. Timmins, we don't know if he's nursing something or not. He didn't do the morning skate, the last one that they had, but he did play. He was much better this last game than he was the game before. So, it didn't look like he was struggling at all. So those would be your injuries for right now.
One more injury to talk about. Like, we've been charting Tage here. Did you feel like it was the best you've seen him play in Game 6?
I thought he was their best player in Game 6 of the Boston series. But, I mean, why did the Buffalo Sabres win the way they did? Because their best players were absolutely their best players. I thought Tuck, that was the best I'd seen him play since the Boston series. He was flying and produced a couple of breakaways because of it. He didn't score on them, but he looked like Alex Tuck again. He was battling. He was winning battles. He was getting to battles. He was skating. It worked, splitting the two of them up for that game. Norris centered Benson and Thompson, that turned out to be a good line. Norris is skating now and looks like, he's moving much, much better.
Norris left Game 6 for a little bit there.
That was just with the cut, probably.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, that was a cut. So he's fine. There wasn't anything injury wise. Thompson, Dahlin ties an Sabres record for most points in a playoff game with 5, and Thompson was 1 off of it. And through it all, guess who's the number 2 scorer in the playoffs right now?
Thompson.
Tage Thompson is number 2.
That is incredible.
Behind Marner. Marner is number 1 with 18 points, and Thompson is number 2 with 15 points.
Yeah, Sabres injury report brought to you, by the way, by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again.
That is incredible that his point total is that high, because I think everybody knew and could see, just wasn't happening in the first 5 games of this series. I thought, Paul, though, Lindy, the idea of putting Thompson not only on a different line, or having different line mates, but putting him on the wing versus center. I think Lindy maybe even spoke to this, just Norris's ability, back checking, and in his own end, there's just a lot less Thompson has to think about when Norris is on his line and playing center rather than when he's the center and everything's kind of driving through him.
Yeah, and it just seemed to work pretty well, the way they were in the offensive zone a lot. I just figured it out. He's got those 15 points in 12 games. If you put that over 82 games, he's on a 102-point pace. The pace he's on in the playoffs right now is a 102-point pace over 82 games. And, I think rightfully so. There's been a lot of hand-wringing in the way he's played throughout the playoffs. But at times he's come through. I mean, he's scored a goal off the stanchion, and he had another one off the back wall, but he was there to tap it into the net. So it's just kind of crazy. This whole thing is crazy, but that's what a 7-game series is.
Yeah, a lot of craziness, Paul, and of course, what's happened in goal has been crazy as well. Luukkonen going in and stopping the bleeding. He didn't have much work in Game 6, but just talk to us about what's going on in goal. I would think it's got to be Luukkonen tonight. Alex Lyon, he's off the hook, which I'm so glad for him. That would have been probably really tough to deal with if the season comes to an end, and that's how it comes to an end. But it kind of felt like in the moment that their rotation and all that was happening here is really, I don't know, Paul, for lack of a better term, they were turning into pumpkins, right? And now Luukkonen has another chance here for the redemption story.
Well, his last 2 road games have been really good. I mean, at the end of the day, he played just under 50 minutes and had an 18-save shutout. In those 50 minutes, he played most of that game. It was not Alex Lyon's night, let's face it. The team was not playing poorly, but he let in a couple of goals that shouldn't have gone in, and Lindy Ruff pulled it, and it just seems like right now both goaltenders are extremely inconsistent, which of course would be a problem. So we'll see if, I would have guessed Luukkonen, yeah, you're right, but we're guessing. Let's see if he can play better in this home game than he did the last home game. But let's not forget either, the team didn't play great in front of him in the last home game, where the 2 road games, they did play very well in front of him.
Do you feel like, because I would agree with you, both guys have been inconsistent, Lyon especially now with that first period. Is Dobes the same thing to you on the other side? Do you feel like there is a significant difference in this series between what he's done and what the Sabres duo has done? Because he's made some big saves. It hasn't been perfect, though, right? There was that first period where he allowed a couple easy ones, and I guess this would depend what you thought of him last game, but do you feel like Dobes is also inconsistent, or is he more trustworthy right now?
And that's where every now and then, usually, honestly, the eye test and the analytics line up. But I read something that loss wasn't on Dobes, and I thought because they went through the the analytics, and it was yeah, I wouldn't totally blame him, but I could take at least 2 goals that he's got to have. One of the Quinn shots, and it's just you got to have it. And he didn't make the save that he needed, that had been making throughout the playoffs. So there were 2 or 3 goals that were on him. Now he stopped Tuck on multiple breakaways and made some great saves there. So he did make some good stops also. But, yeah, it looked like there was a little – and, there was another game recently where it was the home game here where it's like it looked like he was on the ropes. And at St. Louis, I think, was going to pull him. And the goaltending coach says, no, let him stay. And he deferred to him, and he let him stay out there. And then the Sabres stopped putting the pressure on him. They let him off the hook.
Yeah, I wondered, Paul, if Thompson had scored on that breakaway early in the second to make it 4-2, if he would have got the hook there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If the swings of a series, it's that goal makes it 4-2. He scored on that goal so many times. That's kind of his move, where he uses his reach to put the move on the goaltender and then puts it up over the goaltender and in. I've seen him score that so many times, and he couldn't get up over the goaltender. And instead of being 4-2, it remains 3-2. And it was just a few minutes later that Anderson scored on a goal where he should have been covered, and he wasn't, and he wound up with a tap-in, and off the Canadians went.
Paul Hamilton. Paul, how about the third pair and what's happened down there? Like last week, we kind of got to, your words, the Logan Stanley experiment is over, and Mets addresses, and, you mentioned Timmins. How do you think Lindy Ruff ultimately will play it tonight?
Shen, of course, played a couple of games, and there really isn't a third pair when Stanley's not dressed because it's two righties, and Lindy just doesn't go with the two righties together. So, and I think a little bit of that is on purpose because it gets the top four out there. Now, once again, as well as Dahlin played, he didn't play even 20 minutes again. He's not killing penalties. I noticed they're only using 3 defensemen to kill penalties. Byram and Dahlin are no longer killing penalties.
Right, Timmins just doesn't leave. He just stays out there.
It's Timmins, it's Samuelson, and it's Power, and that's it. It's the 3 of them are killing penalties, and Dahlin did not get any penalty killing time, nor did Byram. So that's, I think, one of the solutions Lindy Ruff is trying to, the penalty killing has been very inconsistent. It won them Game 4, absolutely, in Montreal, but in Buffalo, the penalty killing was 0 for 2. They stopped taking the goofy the penalties they took were kind of goofy, but they stopped taking 7 of them. And but still, Montreal wound up going 2 for 2 on the power play. So I think right now the solution is we're going with his 3D, and that's it.
Yeah, the thing I guess I would wonder, and I wouldn't expect this, but if the reasoning for Metsä going in was, well, we didn't know if Power would make it through the game, and if there's any more confidence that Power is good to go now, like, would that change the dynamic of whether they dress Metsä or not? Like, I guess that would be the only question, if you even think that is a question.
I don't think it's a question because Lindy Ruff, after a really good game, tends to dress the same lineup. So I would expect to see the same lineup. Why change it? You're on a streak right now where you've scored the last 7 goals of the series. Metsä actually has one of the goals. That one was on Fowler. That just kind of snuck under him and just barely made it in. But so there to me there would be no reason to change it. I'm not Lindy Ruff. Who knows what he's? But let's face it, for the most part, he has pushed the right buttons in these playoffs throughout. Well, there's some times where you think, well, okay, but then okay, goes, yep, that was the right thing to do.
Paul Hamilton. Paul, finally, the history of Game 7 for this franchise has not been kind,
1-6.
Yeah, 1 win.
Yeah.
And the last time they hosted a Game 7 was 2001 against Pittsburgh, the Darius Kasparaitis goal. So, it's Game 7. It's a lot of things, and I wonder, just your feel on the moment for the franchise here.
I believe it's only the 3rd Game 7 in Buffalo, is not? I think Derek Plant is the only other one where he scored and won Game 7, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Since 1970, only 2 Game 7s in Buffalo, that they've had. And really, for a franchise, that's very few that you just talked about. That, the Derek Plant goal is the only one that they've actually won. So, but as this group has always said, I mean, when the 14-year drought was kind of placed at their shoulders, it's like, yeah, fine, but all of us are not part of that, the whole thing, and none of them are part of this Game 7 thing. So for them, it's their for many of them, it's their first Game 7, and for many of them, that was their first elimination game. And their best players absolutely were their best players, and so for some of them, it was their first Game 7. Look at Dahlin, what he did to open the game. I mean, he made Slafkowski look like he's never played hockey before when he whipped around him. And then what a move he put on Dobes to get the thing started and get them off to a 1-0 lead. And that's, as I said, by the time he was done, he had 5 points, which only John Tucker and Derek Roy have done in the playoffs for the Buffalo Sabres.
Were there best of fives in like the 70s and 80s, by the way?
Yeah, there were best of threes. Some of the first rounds were best of threes.
I'll have to look. I wonder if they hosted like a Game 5 clinching scenario. I don't know if you would know that off the top of your head.
Because I know that they got upset in some of those best of. St. Louis upset them once in those best of threes because they had trouble. Ferguson got an overtime goal for Pittsburgh, and same thing. Pittsburgh was not even in their class, and they wound up losing. So when those best of threes were going on, they got upset a couple of times.
Paul Hamilton. All right, Paul. Game 7. Tomorrow is either locker cleanout or book your flight to Carolina.
Yeah, well, I've already booked hotels because you can cancel them. So, so the hotels are done, but you can't do the flights. You got to wait.
Yeah, Carolina.
Carolina's played 8 games in 37 days.
Yeah.
Like, if we get there, Paul, like that'll be the ultimate rust versus rest debate.
Well, they were doing 3-on-3 scrimmaging the other day.
Okay.
But it didn't seem to bother Colorado or Carolina in the first series. I mean, they had a rest there too, and then they swept the next one too. So, I think Colorado might be a little more attuned to it than Carolina is. Carolina really usually doesn't get this far because of their goaltending, but their goaltending has been absolutely phenomenal. And really for Freddie Anderson, the first time he's played well in the playoffs, and he has so far. So that's why they're in this spot, because their goaltending has been spot on.
Paul, thank you. We'll be listening.
Okay, take care.
Paul Hamilton, he's got the game covered, of course. And Game 7 on the way tonight. You can hear it here on WGR. I'm sure Paul will be on a couple more times today. During the game, before the game. Game 7, the third in franchise history in Buffalo. Like, what a occasion. Someone wrote in, like, have you guys ever been to a Game 7? No.
Of anything.
No.
No.
What would it be? Like an NBA Game 7 or a Sabres Game 7 on the road?
No.
I went to Game 5 in Carolina, but never a Game 7.
No, I've been to a Game 1 of the World Series, but didn't go to was that Game 7? Blue Jays and Dodgers? Yeah, that wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think I had an opportunity
you had a ticket?
to go. Well, I didn't have a ticket. I got offered a ticket, but it was so much money.
Yeah, and that was
as you would expect.
Obviously a big heartbreak for Toronto.
Yeah, no, I've never even come close to going to a Game 7. I mean, I was 6 in 01, and I was too young to think about going to Carolina. How many Sabre fans would have made the trip to Philly in 2011? Like, not a ton, probably.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, this is going to be the first for many. I mean, one win in however many years. Come on. The feeling of that win. And if you're a Sabre fan in your 60s, you've only had this happen once? Mm-hmm. Got to get another one.
And there will be a lot of beer Sabres there. The beer
they're selling them.
Is back. They're selling beer Sabres at the arena. The team put out an announcement about that. If you want to try and grab some beer Sabres, good luck to you. They're being sold in a number of locations. I tried to find out exactly how many beer Sabres they might have.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't find out?
I've not yet got that information. I'm efforting that information.
I mean, I'm expecting they're starting sales at 5:30. Like, I'm expecting them to be gone within a half hour. Total guess. Like, no, it just seems to be how it goes. People flock, they get them. Although, you got to go into the arena that early?
Yeah. It's a genius way to get people in buying beers.
I know.
Is to get a beer Sabre.
As bad, like, I don't have a beer Sabre. And as badly as like I'd like to have one, just to have one,
The patio
For how
scene.
nice it's going to be out, I'm not going into the arena 2 hours before the game tonight.
Yeah, the patio scene is going to be pretty intense tonight.
I mean, it might be warm, but it's going to be a little shade, and I'll be fine.
Canal side will be rocking. Game 7 on the way tonight. Wide open for your calls. If you're on hold, we'll get to your phone calls. We'll check in on the drum banger draft. We'll maybe get some waivers going today.
I have a drum banger take, by the way, a little bit later on as well. It's about the drum specifically.
The drum.
It's about the drum.
Is it about the placement of the drum?
No, it's just the drum.
The drum itself. All right, the drum itself.
We'll get there.
I'm ready for it.
And I've got to make a waiver claim.
You do. You've been skunked. You're the only one not on the board yet. It's time to get,
No Brad May at all. No. I mean, my team was not that crazy. There's nobody on the team. I mean, maybe Shane Doan at this point is looking like.
He's at the arena. I've seen him there.
But if he's at the arena, it would have happened by now, wouldn't it have?
Please welcome Arizona Coyotes great, Shane Doan.
Right, how would they introduce him?
Right. We'll get a break in. We'll get your phone calls on the other side. Counting down to Game 7. We are approaching 12 hours. 7:30 face-off tonight. 12 hours here on WGR.